Hello and welcome to our class today on hydration through Remedios Naturales. The basic philosophy of this community, of this business, is based on the Mesoamerican formula for balance. So when we look at the health of our bodies, in that pyramid, we know that hydration is one of the most important components of it. So today's class is based on that, and thank you for joining us. So why is hydration so important? That's the first question to answer here. Depending on whose estimates you use, you'll get the number from anywhere from like 75 to 85% of the human body is water, with these semi-permeable membranes where water can move based on what's on the inside, on one side or the other. And so quality of water in our diets and quantity of water in our environment is super, super important for our health. If you're dehydrated, your thinking is not clear, your waste products don't release properly, you store more waste products, you don't absorb your nutrition well, people have digestive imbalances. And if you do have good hydration, all of those things get better. We feel better, we sleep better, we think better, all of our organs work better, we're not constipated. So it is super, super important to understand how to hydrate your body, not just about what water to drink, even though we will talk about that. Every single one of our biological processes responds to proper hydration. If water can get into our cells and help nutrition get into our cells, and then it can take waste products out of our cells and get that waste product out through our appropriate channels, everything works better. Your thinking clears up, your muscles don't get sore, you fight infection better, all your organs work better, and many, many more things. What does it mean to have good quality water? I've been through this many, many times with my clients, that most of us see bottled water on the shelves in the stores or wherever, and it usually is purified water, which is done by a system called reverse osmosis, which was produced to clean microchips for use in computers. That's what it was developed for. It takes out all measurable quantities of anything with a charged particle in it so that it doesn't interfere with electrical conductivity, which means if you take it into your own body, it doesn't allow electrical conductivity to happen or contribute to it. So you're taking in a very imbalanced water for biological activities. We rely on the charged particles in naturally occurring waters in the environment to help us move nutrition and waste products in and out of our systems. So purified water tends to do a couple of things. Number one, it depletes us of our mineral nutrition and we get very, very tired. The other thing it does is it keeps us from absorbing the right things, and we absorb too much of other things. And we tend to just in general have imbalances in our organs, but primarily our urinary tract and kidneys. So purified water is one of the things I see a lot it's really a problem for us as a species here in the developed world. The only kinds of natural waters that occur come from natural springs and flowing rivers, which most of us don't really have direct access to. So what was come up by a company that called KDF, they pioneered the technology called ion exchange filtration. And what it does is it brings appropriate quantities of ionically charged leaves appropriately charged quantities of ions and minerals in our water, and it gets rid of, filters out anything that's bigger and heavier than that. So you have heavy metals, you have big carbon-based contaminants, all kinds of things that get into our water that cannot get through that membrane, but those very small charged particles can. So we're left with ionic calcium, iron, manganese, magnesium, all these little minerals that we really need to keep us healthy. And that type of a filter, it mimics a natural spring water or a very fast running river water, which is what civilizations evolved around, because water is such an important piece of our basic health. So you can look more and read more about all the different types of water filtration out there on the market, and on our website under our water technology page. But that is one of the most important things I want people to think about. Look at the quality of your water so you're getting a healthy water into your body when you drink, cook, or bathe. So the other thing that really helps with hydration in your body is to eat whole foods and whole plant foods. Foods cannot grow without a healthy balance of water in them. And so when we eat whole foods, we get foods that have naturally grown based on healthy balance of water in them. And so we get better balance, better hydration eating whole foods. So if you think about that, that means eat the whole orange, not just the orange juice. Include the pulp, include the fiber, even include some of the skin, which are all part of balanced growth of a plant that interact with our bodies. Same thing for, say, a potato. You want to eat the whole potato, including the skin, and not just a processed potato product. And you can think about all kinds of foods that are that way. Eating whole foods will help you keep your water balanced. Okay, so one of the ways that we regulate our body is through exchange of water from our skin, right? So we think of our skin as being waterproof, but it's not really waterproof. It's what we call a semi-permeable membrane, where water can move in or out through our skin. The example of that you can see is when you soak your hands in too much warm water in the sink, you get wrinkly skin with some puffiness. You've got an imbalance of water on one side and the other of your skin on your hands. So your skin responds. And it's based on what was in your skin beforehand and what was in the water. And that happens with our entire bodies. We have the capacity to regulate our hydration through our skin. And even though we're not feeling ourselves sweat all the time, we are continuously evaporating a little bit of water no matter what's going on. And there's less in the cool weather, more in the hot weather. And one of the ways that we lose and gain water more rapidly than any other place on our bodies is through the top of our heads or through our feet. So our head is the most exchange that we have. It's a basic wilderness understanding that in the heat or the cool, one of your best tools is a hat. It retains your moisture in the heat, and it holds your heat and your moisture onto your head when it's a warming hat, because the top of our scalps exchange more water than any other place in our body. So a hat is truly one of your most helpful tools for keeping your hydration levels really balanced, winter, summer, period, because it helps you retain fluid properly and evaporate or absorb properly. The other place that you can do that is with bathing your feet or even bathing your whole body. You lose a lot of water through your feet as well. We notice a lot of times our feet will sweat before any other part of our bodies. And so then if you soak your feet, you absorb water and you get rid of toxins. You can absorb minerals, you can absorb poisons, you can absorb a lot of things through your skin, but more through your feet than probably anywhere else. So it's a really healthy thing for us when we are out of balance to get in a bathtub. Well, how do you know what to put in that bathtub to correct your balance? And the magic tools are baking soda and sea salt, That's kind of a land liver's way of recreating the ocean. The ocean is a natural place where you can get into the water, you have all the sea minerals, balanced water, and your skin will absorb what it needs and get rid of what it doesn't. You're doing the same thing if you get into a bathtub with baking soda and sea salt. Your body can take what it needs, get rid of what it doesn't with those two components in your water. A lot of people will use Epsom salts or this or that or the other. They have their places, but in terms of general balance, where you just need, you don't have to be exact. Throw a handful of baking soda, a handful of sea salt in a bathtub. Or if you don't have a bathtub, use a small tin where you can put your feet in. You can get almost as much gain in terms of balancing your water just by soaking your feet as you can by getting in the ocean or getting in a bathtub. They're age-old tools for healing people's bodies who have been very ill or out of balance. Another place that we can go to is, that we should talk about, are plants. Plants are the other way that naturally we are able to modify the humidity in our environment. Plants give off the oxygen and the water that we need to take in through our lungs, and we give off the carbon dioxide they need to grow their leaves. So we are symbiotic in nature, and plants will naturally humidify a room if you keep them properly watered and you have enough of them in a space that you're living in or working in or sleeping in. They're much more healthy ways to humidify a room than a machine that throws off whatever you put in the container, because plants will quit giving off water if there's a balanced amount in the air, and they'll give off more if the room is really dry. So you can know how much to water your plants by touching your plant's soil, and then also looking at how plump their leaves are. If their leaves are plump and healthy, they got enough water. If their soil is moist, they don't need any more water. They communicate with us as we care for them about how to balance the humidity and the oxygen in the air that we're in. They also take out a lot of other toxic chemicals that can be inside a space and convert them into their own body parts. We're just completely dependent on the plants on this planet, and they can really make a space much more humid, much more healthy for the people that live in them. And if you look at our slideshow, you'll see these big green leafy plants that we use as houseplants. That's not just an accident. Those are the plants with the big leaves that do more of that cleaning and oxygen carbon dioxide exchange than the other flowering plants that are more producing fruit and flowers. The leaves are where most of that happens. We always hear as well about how much water we should drink, 1.5 gallons, 1 gallon, 8 cups, 10 cups. There's no magic number. You have to pay attention to your body, the quality of your skin, but also you can get clues through your urine. If your urine, when you're urinating, is really dark, you have more content of waste products than you have water in that urine. If it's very, very light, you have very little content, mostly water. If you're drinking a lot of purified water, you're going to have to pee all the time, and your urine is going to be very clear. If you're not drinking hardly any water, a cup of coffee, a beer, a drink here and there with too much sugar, you're going to have very scanty urine and dark, dark urine. And so your kidneys and your urinary tract are working with what you're putting into your body and balancing it through your urine. And you can look at that urine and say, oh, I probably had too much coffee to drink, or too many sugary drinks, or too many salty drinks, and my body's struggling to get rid of them, and my urine is not good. But if I've had too much purified water, I'm going to just pour everything out. I'm just going to get rid of water, and it's going to be copious and clear almost. And so what you're looking for is, on a regular basis, not so much the quantity of your urine, but that you have a mildly yellow-colored urine. And that tells you you're getting rid of enough waste products and you're keeping enough nutrition. And that will change depending on your environment, your food, your water, your activities. So you really have to vary your water depending on all of those things. And so when you're struggling with that and you're getting rid of too much or you're holding on to too much, sometimes what's very, very helpful is a guided electrolyte drink, which is where things like Pedialyte and Gatorade have come from. They're commercial ideas about how we keep ourselves hydrated. And when you go to the hospital and they put you on an IV drip, that's what they're doing. They're putting guided electrolytes straight into your veins to help you balance your system and keep your heart and your lungs and your brain functioning properly until they can figure out what's going on. And so they're all forms of helping you balance your water in your cells and outside of your cells. And electrolytes are what allow you to do that. They're those little charged particles that move across those membranes. And so what you want to do if you want to say, I'm just chronically dehydrated or I'm chronically getting rid of too much water, you can make your own electrolyte drink and make it to taste, because when it tastes good to you, it's your tongue, your appetite is guiding you in the right direction. And so choosing the right fruits or fruit juices, choosing the right quantity of salts, and choosing the right form of potassium is what's really important when you make an electrolyte drink for yourself. We have a video and a basic guide on our website, but primarily you will see an electrolyte drink have some form of potassium, some salt, natural or chemical salt, some kind of fruit or fruit juice, which is sugar with other vitamins in it, or added minerals and vitamins. And if you want to do it by yourself in your home and make sure it's natural and fits your needs, you can primarily potassium. It's easy to balance. Most high potassium sources come from melons, peaches, mangoes, apricots, elderberry. Those are all really, really good sources of naturally occurring potassium that's balanced in the fruits that they're in. And then you add a pinch of salt, and you can add any other fruit juice that in a small quantity that tastes good to you, and then fill your bottle up with water. And you've got a natural, balanced electrolyte drink. And if it tastes too salty, add a little more water. If it's not quite the right amount of potassium, it doesn't taste good, add a little more. Next time, if it was too much, cut back. Play around with it until you find the flavors that really support your own system. Everybody's biology is a little bit different, so you'll be attracted to different fruits and to different sources of potassium, and just follow your taste buds and you're gonna go in the right direction. I always warn people to stay away from a couple things when they make their own electrolyte drinks. Number one is purified water, which keeps them imbalanced. Number two is to not use any kinds of artificial ingredients, especially sweeteners. People are attracted to non-calorie sweeteners, but they are not good electrolyte balancers. They often cause kidney issues, digestive issues, neurological interruption. You really want to avoid them when you put them into an electrolyte drink. If you have a really tart juice like a lemon or lime, you really will need to add some sugar. And so make it a natural sugar. If all you have is just plain white table sugar, that's actually a pretty natural sugar. It just comes from the cane. Molasses, maple syrup, honey, xylitol, agave, all of them naturally occurring sugars that you can use in an electrolyte drink. And so just play around with it and figure out what works best for you. The other thing you can do to figure out if your skin and your hydration is good is pay attention to your skin. I talked about a little bit with putting your hands in water. When you are properly hydrated, there's a certain quality of plumpness to your skin. And you can do what is called the pinch test. You pinch the back of your hand, the skin raises temporarily, and then it should very quickly fall back down. That means you're well hydrated. You're not having major hydration issues. If it does what they call tenting and it just stays there, that's a sign that you're really dehydrated. And that is very different than skin that needs help with healing. Dry skin is not necessarily a sign of dehydration. Dry skin is a combination of things. Sometimes just you haven't scrubbed enough of the dead stuff off of your skin, and a good bath and a loofah can do that for you. You're not getting enough of the essential fatty acids to repair the cuticle of the skin, or you're ingesting too many hard dissolved minerals, or in general your digestion might just be poor, or your nutrition might be poor. You're not getting the nutrition to your skin that you need. So you can figure out if it's just dry skin by scrubbing, loofahing, bathing, and also looking at your digestive issues and looking at that versus doing a little tenting test, which people do out in the field for emergency purposes to say, oh yeah, this person's really dehydrated. We need to get an IV into them. And that's just kind of a ballpark, yes, they're dehydrated. So those two things are very different. And that's how we quick look at, is your skin giving you the right information about hydration. The other thing is dehydrating foods and drinks really take a toll on us. Any kind of stimulant, we do medications that are stimulants, we do coffee, we do teas, we do energy drinks, we do all kinds of things that deplete us of our mineral and electrolyte content of our body. And a little bit here and there, a cup of coffee in the morning, something in the process of a full meal is not going to greatly affect your hydration levels. But if you're doing a lot of that every day, you're going to stay chronically dehydrated, which is hard on all of our organs, particularly our kidneys. But eventually, our brains, our lungs, our hearts, all our other digestive organs. So it's really important to limit the intake of those stimulants and the things that are particularly dehydrating. Coffee, alcohol, those are our big ones. And the people that I see these days using drinks like the Red Bull, the stimulant drinks. Okay, so those are the big things about hydration. I hope that's helpful information for you to kind of assess your general level of hydration and how well you do. Again, I'm going to reiterate that the most important thing to do is really look at the quality of water you drink day in and day out. Varying from that here and there because you're out and about, or you're drinking, you're at a party, you have champagne or whatever for the celebration. That doesn't have to stop. What has to stop is that middle 85% of your intake needs to you really need to think about, is my water balanced? Can my waste products get out and the water and the nutrition get in? And that's where those good quality filters or natural spring waters are the most helpful type of water to take into your body. Appreciate you taking the time to watch our hydration video and send us your questions on our website. We have a contact page there, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time for our next class.